Then we move on to Wiltshire. We're heading for Avebury, famous for its vast henge and dozens of enormous standing stones. We also pay a quick visit to the nearby and incredibly enigmatic Silbury Hill. Well, here we are at Avebury in Wiltshire. As you can see, this is a megalithic site. We've got these huge standing stones that were put up about 4,500 years ago, towards the end of the Neolithic age. That's in the very earliest stages of farming in this country. And there aren't just hundreds of stones here in Avebury itself. There are avenues of standing stones extending a couple of miles over in that direction, up to some high ground. And another avenue going in that direction towards another hill. So this is one of the biggest megalithic sites in the entire world. And if you're ever in Wiltshire, I do recommend you come here. It's a fascinating day out. They've got a museum and all sorts. But the reason we're here is because I wanted to talk about the megalithic culture. These standing stones are characteristic of a prehistoric culture, like say 4,500 years ago. They're not just found here in Wiltshire, they're found across the British Isles, over in Ireland, and also going down the Atlantic coastline of Europe, going down through Brittany, France and Spain. And what that demonstrates is that there were close cultural and economic links between these areas of Europe. Even 4,500 years ago, archaeologists have found items here that are clearly being imported from much further south and vice versa. And that proves that cultural links and economic links between the British Isles and the continent of Europe have been going on for hundreds of generations. Long before we joined the European Union, our links with Europe do not depend on us being members of the European Union in any way. And after we vote to leave the European Union in the referendum, which I sincerely hope that we will do, we will maintain those links. Britons will continue to work with people in Europe, we will trade with them, we'll exchange arts, we'll exchange cultural links, we'll work together to tackle problems that are common to the whole continent. Everything will continue as before, it's just we will be free of the political structure of the European Union. So, just as the people who built this magnificent stone circle 4,500 years ago cooperated with, worked with and traded with their neighbours on the continent of Europe, so we will continue to do so after we leave the European Union and become an independent country once again, just like these guys were. Here we are. This is Silbury Hill in Wiltshire. It's built about 4,500 years ago by our Neolithic farming ancestors. As you can see, it's absolutely huge. It's an artificial hill, and archaeologists have excavated it and found that what we have here is just a huge mound of chalk blocks and rubble covered over with green turf. No discernible purpose, no one knows what it's for, there's nothing inside it. So, effectively, what we've got is something that's very large, very expensive, and has got no known purpose. I can't help thinking of the European Commission.